Welcome back, traders. This is Sandra with Trading Made Simple, and today we're going to look at our watch list and program a couple trades in. And the reason we do this is if you haven't looked at automation, well, you get to actually automate your trades, and those triggers hit. You have a great passive way of creating income for yourself. And if they don't hit, no harm, no foul, because those orders will just disappear at the end of the week. And if they do trigger and go against you, no worries. It's a risk-defined trade. You know exactly what you're programming up front. So let's get to it. So we were looking at our weekly watch list, and that comes out every Sunday night. And we have about 7 to 10 tickers that you can program in. And so I'm going to go through one of them with you tonight right now. So this is PayPal. And PayPal had a great week, and they show you the chart here. And you can see that, we actually have levels up here at 67.12, 67.51, these zones, right? So we're really looking to go up higher. But you could see that it said that Friday's daily candle was especially strong and gives us reason to believe that we potentially could test our 67.12, 67.50 levels this week, as well as PayPal having earnings this week, right? So we have a level of support at 65.20. And we're going to monitor for a bounce this week. And that will be our trigger for a continuation to the 67 level. And why is that? Well, nothing goes up in a straight line. There's always an ebb and a flow. So that is the area for a bounce. And so let's look at our chart now. So you got the analysis and you got their chart. So the homework's been done. So now what you can do is it can help you give you confidence in your own chart reading, right? So here's my chart as an example. Everyone knows I love the 20. So here's the 20 EMA. I use that as my reversion to the mean. You could use VWAP or any other type of EMA or SMA that's helping you to identify where reversion of the mean is, because everything ebbs and flows. So as you can see, price likes to come back to the 20, and so it may end up coming back to the 20 here. Now it could just continue up higher next week, right? Because we're right here at this vertical trend line, could offer some nice support, that 65.93. If it stays above 65.93, we could just automatically go to those 67 targets. If it breaks up below that 65.93 area, we could go down to the mean, right? And you could see where the 20 is kind of hanging out where the last pivot high is, which is that green. So everything is lining up in place. And by the way, where's my 20 at? My 20 is at 65.27. Their level was 65.20. You can see what I mean by kind of a zone. So let's pick the 65.20 for price coming back down and then heading back up. How would we do that for automation? I'm going to show you right now. So we go over to our trade tab, and what we're going to do is we're going to find, now there's two ways that you can pick your strike price. You can pick it at the time. So right now we're thinking in our minds price is going to come down around the 65.20 level. So we could get a 65, right, call, or we could get a 67 call because that's our target. So that's what I'm going to do in this event. So I'm going to right click it. I'm going to say buy custom with an OCO bracket, and the system already puts it up for you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our gear icon right here, and we're going to click it. And when we click it, this order pops up, which is our conditional order. And we always want to program the conditions before we program this. This is the option price, but we don't know what the option price is going to be when it comes back down to 65.20, right? We don't know what it's going to be. So because of that, we want to start here. So what we do is we just hover and click. That's all you have to do. Hover and click, automatically puts in PayPal. Hover and click, automatically puts default by mark. Hover and click, the first one is less than or equal to. And since we're waiting for price to go down, right? It's less than or equal to, and we said what? 65.20. So we're going to type in this box 65.20, and we're going to tab it out. And when we tab out, we can actually read it down here, less than or equal to 65.20. I don't know what the option price is going to be, but I want to be an aggressive buyer, buy the ask, and I want to limit order, and I don't want to pay any extra than the ask price. They're asking the price. I'm going to pay them the price. It's good enough for me. It should be good enough for them as well. I do this all the time, and it's a way of becoming you're an aggressive buyer, but you're not paying the market price. Okay. Little tidbits along the way as we are trading and earning. So now that we have that set, that's it. You are now a thinkorswim programmer. You are now automating your trade. So we could do this a number of ways, guys, for your take profit. We could say, hey, get me out at 67, like that says. Or you can say, you know what, I'm just curious. I just want to get a base hit, maybe 20 or 30%. Well, you could also program that in here as well. You just go over this man and you hit trigger, and then you can click on this box for percentage, and then you can change that as an example to, let's say, 25%. That's how easy that was. So now you're like, okay, well, if I make 25% profit, get me out. That's it. And then your stop loss, well, you could say, well, wait a minute, you know, the stock was going down to 65.20. How far down are you going to let it go before you get out? That's the question. So, you know, 65.20 was your entry. So maybe you say 64, 90 as an example. Give it about 20 cents to work itself out. Or let's see, 65.20 is when we get in. No, you could do 64 like 95. That's 25 cents, right? 25 cents to work itself out. If it doesn't, then you're out with a very little loss, very risk-defined, being extremely conservative, right? Now, oftentimes we often say, hey, look, you should set your stop loss. If we're willing to take profit at 25 or 30%, shouldn't you kind of have that kind of same mentality of, well, you don't want to let this go too far. If I'm only accepting 25% profit, do I really want to go down all the way to 50%? No. So, you're always trying to make more, basically, than what you're risking, right? That's always like one of our goals. Well, if that's the case when we're buying options, then, we should set that in. So I always like to do it based on stock price, because I'm looking at the chart and I'm saying, hey, look, these are the support and resistance areas, and that's the way that I like to do it. But I recognize a lot of traders really like to just put percentages in. So I guess what I'm saying is you can do that too. If you want to put in a percentage for your stop loss, you can. And so in that sense, you would just go ahead and put trigger. You would put this is your stop loss, and you could say a percentage as an example, a negative, you could say 15%. You tab out of that box. Make sure you put these good till cancel and good till cancel. And then if we were to read it, right, we'd come over here and it would say buy a PayPal 67 call when we're at or below 65.20. And then I want you to sell that call when we trigger a 25% profit. And I want you to sell that call if the stop loss triggers a 15%, a negative 15%. You see the negative right there and the positive right there? That's it. You are now a thinkorswim programmer. This just took me a second. You could create a template of this if you like this setup, and you can do it like literally click, 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 and it's done for all of your stocks, right? Or you can come back. So let's say I save this, and I'm just going to come back and let me put that back up. I saved it in my saved orders, but I'm going to say create a duplicate advanced order so it brings back up. I'm going to come over here now and I'm going to change it to the stock price so that you know how to do that as well, okay? So we got this down because this is easy, and a lot of people like to work with percentages, but I'm going to go ahead and pick a target price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, let's see, we're going to do greater than. This is my take profit, and we're going to use the levels. The level for the profit taking was around $67. I always like to get out just a little bit beforehand. So I'm going to say 66.75. I'm going to tab out of that box so you can see when the security is greater than 66.75. That's going to be a limit. We're going to sell the bid, and we're going to make this 0, 0. And now I have my profit target in there. And now I'm going to go over here to this gear shift, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for here, but I'm going to do my stop loss. We could leave this for 15%, or you could use the stock price. So I'm going to use the, stock price. That's always mark. This is going to be less than. So if it's going down to 65.20, right, for us to buy a call, maybe I only want it to let it go down to 65. If it breaks 65, then it's going lower, right? And I don't want to stay in it, so my risk is very defined. It's a narrow definition there of a small risk trade here. So I'm going to put this as 65. Tab out. I'm going to come over here. This is going to be a limit. And I'm going to say sell the bid. I'm just being an aggressive seller without doing a market. Anytime you put a stop in place, even if it's a trail stop, it is a market order. Really your discretion, but I use these often, no problem. You want to give it, you want to be super aggressive. You can say, okay, sell it with an extra, like, 2 or 3 cents, $2 or $3 to make sure you're definitely out. You could do that as well, but I haven't had any issues with these types of stops for regular option contracts, single leg option contracts. Then, of course, you have your double legs, which is your credit spreads. You have butterflies, which has more legs to it. So they do change a little bit, but once you know those changes, this becomes second nature to you, so it's not that big of a deal. So in any event, so now we have everything programmed. So now we're going to read it, right? We're going to read the programming that we just did. So now it says buy this 67 call when we get at or below 65.20. And then it says, okay, sell this when it gets above 66.75. And then sell this if it gets below 65. So really, we're entering at 65.20. If it goes down 20 cents, then we're out of this. No harm, no foul. That's how you automate your trades. That's how you live your life and be able to create a passive income while you're looking at charts and utilizing some great tools that we have in our Discord. So use that weekly watch list, get in the mode of doing this, and you too can whip this out in about 20-30 minutes. Have about 6-7 different tickers. Some will trigger, some won't. No worries. And that's it. My PayPal's done, and I'm going to move on to another one. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, my contact's in the description below, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, and I look forward to this week.